Thank you, Bhavna. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk on the present and future of cloud IT management. With increasing demand to manage business services and applications from the cloud, organizations face a tough time identifying the right solution that fits their entire infrastructure without compromising on data and security. ManageEngine, with its wide range of product portfolio, offers IT management solutions through the cloud. A one-stop shop vendor to choose from a host of cloud offerings on IT help desk and asset management, identity management, mobile device management, patch management, and IT infrastructure monitoring. So by the end of this presentation, I'm sure the audience would be able to identify how ManageEngine is going to help them choose the right IT management solution from the cloud through ManageEngine. So having said though, when you have to talk about cloud IT management, there's a whole big list of verticals that you have to look into: IT service and asset management, server and application and network performance monitoring. Desktop management needs to be done on the cloud as well. So if you are a remote infrastructure monitoring organization, then you will want to do the desktop management as well, which includes patch management, vulnerability assessment, remote control, and much more. Mobile device management also needs to be moved to the cloud these days, and Office 365 management, remote access, patch management, secure, single sign-on, SIEM and log management, advanced IT analytics. So with all the data that you have from all the above verticals, you may have to conclude as to how your IT is going to perform. So for that, you need some analytics solution, and that is what I mentioned as advanced IT analytics. So when you have to talk about service desk on the cloud, these are the essentials that you may want to look into. The best practice ITSM workflow should be incorporated in the service desk solution on the cloud. You may also have to find out if that particular solution can be integrated with your existing IT management applications. It may be on cloud or on premise. You may also have to look in for some smart automation features, like say, for example, if any problem arises at the network data center, you may want to assign the ticket to the network administrator, or if there's a problem with the database, you want to assign it to the database administrator. The service desk software that you're going to look for should have extensive reporting capabilities and should also be able to be customized without much changes to the code. So you may also want to look into some ITIL features like incident management, problem management, change management, service catalog, asset management, CMDB, project, release, knowledge base, continual service improvement. This is going to help you redefine your service strategy and service design. And finally, enterprise service management. Gone are the days when we were just looking into the IT service management console. But now you want to extend your ITIL services, ITIL functionalities to other departments like HR, travel desk, finance, sales, legal, facilities, and much more. So you may also want to look into how ITIL is going to help you in these departments as well. That is what we call it as enterprise service management. For monitoring your network from the cloud, you also have to look into website monitoring, server monitoring for CPU memory, disk utilization, cloud application monitoring like Amazon EC2 instances or RDS instances, network monitoring for routers, switches, firewalls to monitor their CPU memory utilization, interface traffic, application performance for response and throughput. And finally, the real user monitoring, where you want to check the real user experience for various services that you offer from the cloud. When it comes to desktop management, these are the essentials that you may want to look into, like does it manage all the platforms that you have? Predominantly, most organizations are Windows shops, Microsoft shops. So you want to first manage your Windows machines. Linux and Mac should also be supported by the application that you're looking for. Patch management, automated patch management. How am I going to automate patches for all the applications that are being deployed into my organization. So it could be Microsoft applications, or it could be any third-party application like Adobe or Google Chrome and much more. Software license management and software deployment. How are you going to push software to workstations from the cloud? Desktop configurations. How are you going to change the Internet Explorer settings or firewall settings or group policy objects for all the workstations? USB device management. How are you going to control what data goes into these USB devices? How am I going to stop the spread of viruses through these USB devices? Vulnerability assessment. What are the workstations which are vulnerable, and how am I going to mitigate these threats from various sources? Data loss prevention, and finally, application control. So what kind of applications go into these workstations? Are they prohibited softwares, or do they have a managed license for these softwares which are being installed on the workstations? So all these are essentials that you may want to look into. The list is actually bigger than this. Due to time constraint, I am just consolidating the important points that I would want to talk as essentials for the present cloud IT management when it comes to desktop monitoring or desktop management. When it comes to Office 365 management, you want to manage your Exchange Online, Azure AD, Skype for Business, OneDrive for Business, and Microsoft Teams. You want to also manage your mobile devices. You want to take a look into the apps which go into these mobile devices. You want to monitor your Android phones, Windows phones, and iOS phones. You also want to look into the security aspect of these mobile devices. When was it communicating, or what was the last time it communicated with your central server, and what was the geolocation coordinates? What am I going to do if the mobile device is lost? Am I going to disable the device, or are you going to remotely lock the device? How is that you want to perform some security actions when there's a theft or when there is a loss of data? Or you want to manage the emails which come into these mobile devices. It could be personal emails and the corporate emails. You just want to segregate this for your users. Content management. What kind of content am I going to publish to specific users? And also containerization. When you have to remotely control the workstations from the cloud, you also want to look at how are you going to record these sessions for learning and audit purposes? What kind of additional tools that you can perform, additional options that you can perform? Say, for example, whenever you're doing a remote control, the system would have hung, or there could be a zombie process. So you want to remotely shut down the device, or you want to wake on LAN, or do some extraordinary tool settings like system management, clearing the recycle bin. You want to communicate with the user, and you can do all this only upon confirmation from the user. So these are various aspects that you have to look into for remote access. When it comes to patch management, you have to first verify if it can do a cross-platform support, like it can manage patches from Windows, Linux, and Mac applications. Third-party application patching. How are you going to distribute these patches to devices which are missing the patches? So you want to first segregate those devices based on severity. The ones which are missing the critical patches will be highly, will have the highest priority to push those patches. How are you going to automate these patch management? So are you going to manually push those patches to all devices, or are you going to have a test and run and then automatically push those patches? It could be for Microsoft applications as well as for third-party applications. When it comes to identity management, you want to look for a single sign-on for all your enterprise applications. Check if it can support any SAML-based application so that you can integrate it with your existing on-premise or SaaS-based application. You can also leverage the use of existing identities so that it can you can push those identity from these softwares like Office 365 or Google Suite or Zoho. You may also want to grant or revoke access to applications based on the user identity. When it comes to log management, you want to take a look at the event logs from Windows machines and syslog from network devices or Windows Linux machines. You want to check for router syslog messages, firewall or switch syslog messages. You want to audit those devices like Windows devices and Unix devices. And finally, generate a complaints report. Say, for example, if you are from a banking institution, you want to generate reports based on GDPR, or you want to generate a report based on PCI DSS, GLBA, or if you are looking for some security-based reports, you want to look into ISO 20000 standards. So your log management software should be on the cloud, should be able to collect logs from various sources and help you generate reports based on compliance. And analytics, you may want to connect to any data source and generate data. You want to check for information which is missing. Actually, say, for example, you want to look for answers to the key attributes in IT, key performance indicators in IT, like how many technicians have violated their SLA, what is the percentage violation of SLA, some unanswered questions that you want to look into the data and generate some reports. You want to also share and collaborate these reports with other technicians and other users within the organization. So having said all these, whatever I spoke a while ago, until a while ago, it's all about the present status of IT management, cloud IT management, and what are the aspects that you have to look into when you look into specific verticals from the cloud. When it comes to the future of cloud IT management, everything is going to go on the cloud. So you already have infrastructure as a service, you already have software as a service, and you will also be you should also have known about platform as a service. And moving forward, modular software using continuous integration and deployment using DevOps will be the priority. And data security will always be superior. So data security takes the first place when it comes to cloud IT management. And increased competition. You will have increased competition from various other vendors, and cloud is definitely going to make those vendors richer than what they are right now. So when it comes to talking about ManageEngine, ManageEngine covers up all those aspects that I spoke about. It, in fact, gives you specific features related to the aspects that you have to look into for the verticals. So we have help desk on the cloud, network management on the cloud, Active Directory, like Office 365 is available on the cloud, desktop and mobile management is available on the cloud, log management and analytics is also available on the cloud. So if you are looking to manage your IT from the cloud, ManageEngine would be the one-stop shop vendor for all the aspects that you want to cover up with. And ManageEngine solutions, cloud IT solutions, this is a one-stop shop solution for SaaS-based IT. It's highly secure and reliable, and we have a flexible pricing model. So you don't have to buy in all the components together and then start using or stop using one of those components which you think is not necessary. So you can just buy in bits and pieces. And finally, when you have all put together, that's when you want to have a single dashboard. That's when Zoho Analytics comes into picture. So we have a flexible pricing model for all those components that we serve from the cloud. I'm open for Q&A here.